76, Jimmy Carter famously said, "I will not lie to you."
Well, I have to tell you, I have tried in every way I know how, literally from my years as a young lawyer all the way through my time as Secretary of State, to level with the American people.
You talk about leveling with the American people. Have you always told the truth?
I've always tried to. Always. Always.
Some people are going to call that wiggle room that you just gave yourself.
Well, no,
always tried to.
No,
Jimmy Carter said, "I will never lie to you."
You know, you're asking me to say, have I ever? I don't believe I ever have. I don't believe I ever have. I don't believe I ever will. I'm going to do the best I can to level with the American people.
Okay, with that as a backdrop, does anybody want to chime in?
I do. Just to say,
yes,
I will never lie.
I will never lie.
Move on.
You know what? I take Mika has a point here.
Yeah.
Maybe actually, listening to it again, maybe Hillary Clinton is trying to be honest about the fact that sometimes you are not in possession of all of the facts, and you may say something that is not 100%.
Or you're in possession of facts that you can't share.
Yeah, that's not
lying. You could say if you're in possession of facts that you can't share, then that would be.
Mike Barnicle, she took a very easy question and made it tough, and look at the face.
I think I felt this for several weeks now. I think you can sum up the problem that Hillary Clinton, despite her credentials, is having in this campaign is the same problem she had in 2008, and it's a line out of Cool Hand Luke uttered by Strother Martin to Paul Newman when he said, "What we have here is a failure to communicate."
Oh, I cannot believe I'm on the other end.
You look at the facial expressions. Yes. Again, this is an easy question.
Yeah. It is.
It's an easy question, and she looked like she was being interrogated by the FBI.
You look into the camera and you say, "I will never lie to the American people." You're running for president, and you want to instill that confidence in folks to know that you're going to be straight with them. And I get your point, Caddy, that you don't have all the information, but that's not the same as lying, because that's a lack of knowledge.
No.
It's not going out and saying that you're going to lie.
But the simple,
why does she make everything declarative statement?
Why does she make everything so difficult? Jimmy Carter, I will never lie to you. When I'm your president, I will never lie to you.
And that would be the only president who you could actually believe.
Well, no, we would hope. Any president,
there you go.
Any president that would run, you would hope they would be able to answer that question.
Well,
yes, I actually would.
Yeah, well, that's very naive.
Exactly. They may answer the question, but whether they're telling the truth when
and she just told the truth. I can't believe I'm on the other end of it. I'm telling you, I think there's a lot of problems with Hillary Clinton's campaign, but that was a person, a human being, who happened to be a woman, which I really do think we do things differently, doing her best to tell the truth to a question that she knew was a political bomb.
It looked terrible, but
let's go to Mark Halperin. Mark Halperin, Mika and Caddy's comments aside, the men, at least on the set, think you...
The naive men who lie well.
Answer that question. Yes, I will always tell the truth. It just seems to me the fact that became a contentious part of an interview with Scott Pelley seems to underline Hillary Clinton's problem in her campaign that right now is in a bit of a free fall, at least internally.
A couple days ago, I did an interview with Bernie Sanders. John Hammond and I did, with all due respect, and asked him, is it ever appropriate for a president to lie? He paused, but then he said no. And I think the contrast is he was never a lawyer at the Rose Law Firm who's been questioned in front of a grand jury and who knows that every word she ever says is scrutinized. So there's an uncomfortableness to that scene with Scott that I think is a product of what she's been through. But I agree with Mike. It's a reflection of her ability to communicate with the American people in a way that even her own advisors will say her biggest problem to become the next is a question of whether people trust her to tell the truth, whether she's honest. And so I think that answer was, unfortunately for her, a reflection of her predicament and compounded her predicament.
It also, unfortunately, is the product of 30, 35, 40 years of the Clintons or the Clinton supporters deliberately lying to investigators, deliberately lying to people on Capitol Hill, deliberately lying to people all around them. As Maureen Dowd said, most of their scars are self-inflicted. And I say that because I remember David Geffen, famously said in 2007, And nobody came rushing to the Clintons' defense. David Geffen said the Clintons are unusually good liars. And then he announced why he was supporting Barack Obama.
Well, Bob Kerrey, who ran against Bill Clinton in the 1992 New Hampshire primary and lost, said, you know, Bill Clinton is just an unbelievably great liar. So it's been in the mix for years and years and years. Whether they lie or not, that's going to be a judgment for history. Well, it hasn't been a judgment for history thus far.
But
the real difficulty, the conundrum here is she is so experienced, has been on the scene for so long, knows so much about the internal workings of government and of the presidency, why she could not say, I would not lie to the American public, but I have to tell you, any president might not be able to tell you the truth.
It was a forward-looking question, though. It was a forward-looking question. You could just say, I won't do it.
Because she knows the American people accept a man who lies and even embrace them, and they won't with a woman.